right, so I hope you guys all had time to digest all that. I also want you to do a little assignment. Pause this video and write down either in the comment box or a paper, if you've been in the field for a while and you're just refreshing your knowledge on cosmetology, what type of salon have you worked in? Have you worked in all of these, or was a certain few? And how was your experience with that? What did you like and what did you not like? Also, write your opinion on booth renting. I think that booth renting is such a hot topic in this chapter, along with regulation laws and potentially deregulating State Board or reworking State Board or getting rid of the practical exam. Those are all hot topics that I think it's important for all of us to heavily research and come to our own conclusions on. I also think it's great to have a fun little civil debate on this. What do you think about booth renting? I know some people are dead against it, others like it. I like it because you're able to be free, you're able to be your own brand, your own business, you're able to be individual, as opposed to being in like a corporate salon, which is like at the other end of the extreme where all of you are forced to be a certain way 24/7 for consistency. And my own opinion on this, I think it's very difficult to standardize a hair color and a haircut with a particular brand because hairdressers already put their own energy into what they do. So my way of doing hair color is going to be different than a really good friend of mine. Now, the proper way to say his name is Marcellus. So Marcellus blends hair. If you had Marcellus doing your hair color, that would be different than how I would do hair color. So his version of blonde is different from my version of blonde. Also, there might be personality differences. Doesn't mean it's bad. It means that it's awesome. That, a lot of clients, they like you because your personality. Personality is a great thing. We're always diverse with our personality. That makes us individual and that makes us strong. We also collectively come together as a team. So if you are in a salon and you're booth renting, you still can be a team. You can have a good rapport with your spa staff. You can have a good rapport with your makeup artists. And then together you guys can like work together on, a common goal, like getting more clients in or referring one another. A lot of the times you're able to trade tips. So here's the fun part about booth renting. Some of them might go to like, a different brand class. Others might go to another class. If you come together and trade notes over like some drinks and dinner, that is a really good way of getting teamwork and getting good networking skills together. You also can refer clients. So another thing that happens, let's say that you like doing, red hair, and then you have a client that doesn't like any red, and then you don't know like where to send her because she wants to go blonde. If you have a booth renter that specializes in blondes, you can actually refer within your salon, and that can save you some time, tears, and trouble later on. Okay, so now on to resume development. Now, again, I'm going to give you the real world experience on this, my own experience. I've worked at 3 salons, and I have to say that not once did I ever give a resume. And I know it's probably bad to tell you guys this because I don't want to, make you not write a resume. Majority of the time, you are not giving a resume in the salon. Personally, as a business owner, I do not want a resume. What I care about would be like references and a background check, and that's about it. I also would look at the person's social media and like see like what comes up with their name. Typically, a resume is going to be used for higher education, and a lot of them tend to be online. So like I can now say back in my day when we had resumes, they're all handwritten. Now it's all online. You have to submit it in that way. I know that if you want to work for like Ulta, which is another example of a franchise salon, Ulta, actually I think that would be a large national salon chain because Ulta is in almost every state. Ulta is run through L'Oreal, and Ulta, their resumes are online. So it's different than what you're used to doing back in the day. Know that a resume is defined as a written summary of a person's education and work experience. It tells the employees at glance who you are, what your accomplishments are. It's all of your best attributes in one sheet of paper. You typically want a resume to be no longer than one sheet of paper. If your resume is 6 pages, that's a problem because most of the time your employer is not going to look through that. You also want to make it interesting enough and easy to read where your employer can see your best bits and get a quick snapshot of who you are and make it seem like you are the ideal fit for the job. A resume is almost like a way of saying like, hey, this is me, pick me, pick me. This is why you should pick me. So if you're a new graduate, you typically have little to no work experience. That is a-okay. If you have experience in retail or working in a restaurant, I would put that down because it can only help you. You're still in the service industry, very different areas, but very similar with the people skills. You also want to keep it simple. You want to get a hard copy and an electronic version. You want to use good quality paper. You want to include your name, address, phone number, email address on both your resume and cover letter. And you want to list recent and relevant work experience. Some people tell you different things in the address because of discrimination based on location. I personally do not include my address. I include my name and all that because there's been jobs where I will drive literally an hour and a half out to work for. I did that for my internship when I was going through my degree program. That's got to be something that you have to decide for yourself and what you want to do. Also know that you want to list your professional skills and accomplishments. Typically, the average time that your employer will spend scanning your resume is about 20 seconds. So you want to grab their attention within 20 seconds. If you don't make your resume interesting enough, you're probably going to end up in the rejected pile. Also know that you want to market yourself in an appropriate manner. Focus on achievements instead of detailing duties and responsibilities. Accomplishment statements enlarge your basic duties. So for example, how many clients did I serve? How many clients did I serve weekly? What was my retention rate? What percentage of revenue came from retailing? Do I have any special certifications? Like, am I an ABCH certified hair colorist? Did I take the Hair Freaks and Color Geeks certification from Coastline? Am I a specific brand artist? All those things can only help. Know that if you cannot express your accomplishments numerically, can you address what problems you solved or other results you achieved? Also know that it's important to, you can also include other things. So like if you had any honors, so when you were in cosmetology school, did you get any awards, any honors? Did you win any essay programs? Those are things that can be accomplishments. Were you ever student of the month? Did you ever have recognition for perfect attendance or a high grade? Did you win any cosmetology competitions such as Skills USA or a local competition? What was your attendance average while in school or your GPA? Did you work with the student body to organize any fundraisers? The more community service and the more service-related stuff that you did in cosmetology school, the more stuff you can put on your resume. Also know that your boss, for the most part, will understand that you're not going to be super skilled. Typically, when you do start, if you are very young in this field and you are going out in the field for the first time, you are going to have to be an assistant for a while, typically. And what's going to happen is your boss will understand that, and they're not going to look too heavily in the resume. Like I said, all three of my previous salon jobs, when I was there, I was literally in and out, and it was like, okay, like, you know, they wanted to meet me as a person. They really didn't care too much about resume. I didn't even get asked for one. What might happen though, and this is what's more common, if you've been doing it for a while, so my one boss who was awesome at my last salon, when I came in there, I came prepared. I brought my own little kit because I had a feeling. I knew how to use that brand of hair color that we were using at the salon, and I gave her a hair color makeover and a haircut. And that was my basically like intro exam. If I was good for her standards, like with how I talked to her as a client. And she's a hairdresser too, which we know that hairdressers, we can't BS one another. We give each other the, you know, direct answers. So it was fun, you know, how to handle a client that might be tough or who might know their stuff. Those things are important to be prepared for. Also know that the resumes will have their do's and don'ts. You want to provide a complete list of your information. If you give your cell phone number, please, because I'm guilty of this, make sure that you clean out your voicemail and get back to them. If you do not answer your phone habitually and your voicemail says your mailbox is too full, that creates an impression that you don't want to be known for. Also know that you want to know your audience. You want to use vocabulary and language that are understood. You don't want to be using a lot of slang terms. You don't want to come in there, you know, talking in slang terms that are like "I was a big one" or "yeet." You don't want to be saying "ratchet" or "oh, that's so ratchet" or, you know, trash talking, because that's going to create a different impression. You want to keep it upscale unless the salon is Bogetto. If you watch Salon Takeover, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to. You want to keep it short. You want to stress accomplishments, focus on career goals. You also want to emphasize transferable skills. Transferable skills are skills mastered at other jobs that can be put to use at a new position, such as if you were awarded you know, a hair colorist certification or hair cutting certification, that is stuff that you can transfer to a new position. You want to use action verbs such as coordinated, developed, increased, maintained, achieve, and strengthened. Keep it neat, include professional references, and you want to be realistic. You also want to know that for professional references, you want to keep them as professional as possible. So, you know, your parents, I always say off limits because they're going to be too biased. Maybe a good friend, any teachers that you've had before that will give you a good reference, or any, you know, family friends that have known you from before or past job owners. Thing with the reference that's important to remember is that if the person does not have a good opinion of you, you don't want to give the reference down. Any old jobs that you did not leave on good terms with, I would always say stay clear of that, because if they call them, you know, it might not work out well. And as someone who's actually been on the hiring board before, because I was a manager for a while, I had someone put on their resume, they put their therapist when they were on drug court. Don't do that for obvious reasons. Most of the time your therapist because I am also going for psychology. If you are a therapist, that might be a confidentiality issue. Don't put your therapist down as a reference unless they allow you to do that, because it might not send a good message. Also know this, I've had this happen before. We had someone put down their probation officer as a reference. Yep. Always include a cover letter with your resume. They give you an example of what a cover letter looks like. Cover letter is going to be, it's on figure 3016. Cover letter will talk about your, what you want to get out of the job. They have templates on Microsoft Word. Just make sure you tweak it to make it sound nice. You want to avoid salary references. You don't want to state your salary history because that can give someone the chance to dock you a lot or give you the lowest possible salary. Don't include information about why you left former positions. And if the boss asks you during your interview, here's what you always want to say. It wasn't a good right fit, or if you need to, just try not to answer it. I've had someone say that, it was just something that didn't work out, but you know what, today's a new day. And then their boss said, oh, that's perfect. Because a lot of the times they try to trip you up on that. If you go on and on and on about why you didn't like that, it's probably going to be very negative, and you don't want to bring that to the new job when you get the job. You don't want to bring that negative energy. So always know any skills in newer technologies such as management system. If you're really good at YouTube, YouTube's a new thing. That might be something you want to get into. Also, you don't want to stretch the truth. If you do not tell the truth or tell things that are false, that will catch up to you. I've caught people lying about what salons I've worked at. I've caught people lying about the time frames. Things like that are not good. Also, if you do not feel comfortable writing your own resume, consider seeking a professional resume writer or a job coach. There may be employment agencies that can help you as well. Many online job search websites offer easy-to-use resume templates. Just use Microsoft Word is all I can say, or even like Google Word. That includes everything you need to know. If you have any friends that have a resume, have them send you their resume and then just fill in the blanks. They give you an example of what a resume should look like on here, which it was actually kind of funny. It was, the name is Mary Curl, Anytown, USA, and it's just so funny. So they give you an example of what it should look like, professional experiences, qualifications, all that stuff. So use that as a template. Also know that an employee portfolio is very important. Back in the day, it was all professional photographs and you'd have like a thing you could flip through. This day and age, I would typically think that Instagram is the closest thing that is similar to an employee portfolio that's digital and you can see it. There's classes, really you only need like 1 or 2 classes on how to do Instagram correctly. So employee portfolio, I'm old school. I think it's incredible when someone has a portfolio they can like flip through, and also a digital copy. So a portfolio includes the following items: awards, certificates, current resumes and accomplishments, photographs of your journey, and before and after photos. Always get in the habit of taking a before photo and an after photo. I'm guilty of always forgetting, and you lose a chance on seeing a drastic change that might be very important for your employment. Know that there's digitized versions, but typically a person is not going to take the time to view a digitized one. They want to view the hard copy first, and then if as an option, you can give them a version to keep. Staples, I know, also can help with doing that. Also know that when you write a statement, you want to include the following aspects of it. A statement that explains what you love about your new career, a description about the importance of teamwork and how you see yourself contributing as a team member, all those good things. Another important thing is you want to target the establishment you want to work at. You do not want to wait until you graduate to do this because you're going to miss out and you're going to pick the first choice, limiting yourself. You want to take the time when you first start cosmetology school to look around and figure out where you want to go. A basic Google search, which children, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I've told students when they ask me a question or they'll ask something very specific that I might not know. I'm like, your phone is right there. You have Google on your phone. I can say that when I was in school, we always used our phones and Google. Now the younger generation is getting way too lazy and they rely on Siri for everything. Sometimes you just got to type a few words or a simple Google search and you'll be able to find your answer. Also know that you want to look for salons that advertise locally. Check out any websites, but I think that websites are kind of outdated unless they're done correctly. Most people have Facebook pages and Google sites. Those are where you want to go. They give you an independent salon, Salvatore Minardi in Madison, New Jersey. New Jersey represent. And it gives you the idea that the owner's taste is being reflected. That salon has a very historic feel. It looks very beautiful, very high end. So typically the prices might be higher. That's what reflection is basically like when you're looking at a salon. If you see a salon that has like more of a trendier, kind of like a industrial rock and roll metal edge to it, that might be something that might be more up your alley if you're younger and like doing a lot of the fashion tones and crazy colors and crazy haircuts. Whereas something like the photo they give you is something that's going to be more for the mature client, a client that's in her 30s and 40s who just wants to cover, you know, her grays and get a few foils done. And know that field research is also very important to do. Typically, the book tells you to, you know, go in there and ask for a tour. I always say go undercover, go in there, get a service done, and then view it. That will be better because you will see it operating at a more natural pace as opposed to you giving them a heads up. Because what that does, it tells them to, oh, you know, put on a show, make it look good, not like a natural observation. You learn this if you ever major in psychology, that naturalistic observation is the best way to learn. And typically you don't want to blow your cover or give any indication of who you are because people have a tendency to please. There's also quite a few web services: Behind the Chair, Modern Salon, Salon Gigs, Salon Employment, Spa Wire, Spa and Salon Jobs. What's another one? American Salon, and they give you some general specific resources: Craigslist, Career Finder, Job Bank, Jobs.net, Monster, Snag-a-Job, and Career Builder. I've only known of like 2 of these, Craigslist and Monster. Craigslist, just be warned of Craigslist because you never know what's on there and it could be not a right fit. Typically, I find for the most part, Facebook groups are the way to go, or you can just post a link and you might get networked that way. Know when you're visiting a salon, you want to make a checklist. And what I will do is I will give you guys a 5-minute break here. We'll go back, we'll talk about the salon visit and your salon checklist, and we should be able to finish up the chapter.